Okay, Pivot Life Consulting. So first thing, when I looked this up, I will tell you, it's good. You definitely you came up first. I would probably do a little bit of work here on your Google My Business page, only because it looks like we have some extra room here in our description. I think we should use all the room. You have 750 characters here that you can use. You're also going to want to get a good 15, 20 reviews minimum. Use your products and services section in the Google My Business, because you can talk about the different types of employee benefits and supplemental insurances that you offer. Also, have people ask questions here and then answer the questions, and make sure that the keyword rich responses, or make sure that the responses are keyword rich. It's going to help your search engine optimization. But yeah, it's this is good stuff. So coming over here to the website. First of all, the website, I think that right off the bat, like it's nice, it's simple. This blue and the white is taking up a lot of space. I think that you could make this menu a lot smaller, which would free up probably like 1.5 inches to 2 inches of space, maybe even more, above the fold, which is the most important real estate on the entire website. So this takes up a disproportionate amount of space that isn't actually necessary. I'd try to move all that up and buy myself some more space to talk about what we do. Business services, voluntary employee benefits, insurance services, business coaching and consulting. Good that that's there, but it's kind of vague. Like, I need to know exactly what kind of benefits are being offered, what kind of insurance services are being offered. I wouldn't assume that people who come to your website know what that all means and what you even do. Especially since your name is a little bit confusing, right? Because it sort of looks like you sell life insurance, or you do life consulting, almost like you're like a life coach. And here it says business coaching and consulting. So I would just try to get a little bit. It would be really easy for somebody to come to this website and go, I'm looking for disability insurance. I don't even know if that's what they offer. I'm going because it seems like they're doing life consulting, right? So just be careful of that kind of stuff. Talk about the problems that you're solving for people right up front, and exactly who your perfect client is right up front, so that you're calling out your target audience. You're telling them what you do, why they should care, and then more importantly, what they should do next. So for instance, like, there needs to be a very clear call to action on the site, and it needs to be above the fold, because you don't want to leave that up to interpretation. You don't want to leave that up to question. So you have a phone number here, and that's all well and good. So what do they need to do with this? Is this the only way for them to get a quote? And if that's the truth, then it should say call for a free quote, or call for a complimentary consultation. Or if you want people to submit like a request for a quote, then have a button that says request a quote. And what I would do is maybe change around the color scheme a little bit, where most of your site is white with pops of the blue. And then your call to action should be a nice clear light blue, maybe. So it's kind of like the sky here. But the call to action should really stand out, and it should complete the sentence, I want to. So if what they're going to want to do is request a free quote, then the button should say request a free quote, or request a free consultation, or talk to a specialist, or talk to Heather, whatever it is. But it needs to pop, right? We need a pop of color. And I'm going to pause here and pull up a couple examples for you. All right, so here's some examples of some other landing pages and websites that have those sort of pops of color that I'm talking about. So for instance, here's Monday CRM, right? You see how like the whole website is pretty much just white. Here you can choose your own adventure a little bit. You can talk about the different things that you want to do, or the problems that you want to solve, and so on. And you could technically have something like that here. But what's important is that, the site is very, very simple and visually appealing and easy to use. But when it comes time to it, I know what they want me to do. It's very straightforward. It says, get started. So it's very clear call to action above the fold. Doesn't require me to think. Like, we need to not require people to think. Period. Right? Because when you ask people to think, they get freaked out and they leave. The confused mind always says no. So back over here, business services. I think we ought to describe a little bit more about kind of what that means. And then maybe, reshape this banner a little bit. Think about maybe taking this banner right here. I see that that's a bridge, but it is hard to understand that it's a bridge. I don't really know why it's a bridge. I can assume that it's because you provide a bridge to like being in hardship to being, in a state of security, or, you get people from point A to point B. I mean, like, I think that's probably what you're talking about here, and that's why you chose a bridge. However, I will say that doesn't look like a bridge to a lot of people. It looks like it could be power lines. We don't really know what that is. So again, use visuals that make life significantly easier for people. Like, I'll come back over here. You can see what's happening here. This is a CRM, and they're stretching a spreadsheet and turning it into this beautiful thing. You know what I mean? So they're using these visuals to truly, illustrate exactly what they do. Shopify is doing the same thing, right? They're using this like online shop, and any visuals that they're using very clearly depict exactly what it is that they are offering. Mangools is an SEO tool. I've got a happy person on her laptop, and she's able to do some searching. She loves what she sees. She's seeing graphs that are in good, that are good. She's doing things with links, which to an SEO person like me, like, I kind of get what all that is, right? And she's obviously smiling. So again, just use graphics that clearly support whatever your vision is, or clearly support whatever it is that you're trying to portray. Your mission, I like your mission. I think it's great. I just think it needs to be more descriptive of insurance. It needs to include more about insurance, like to empower, protect, and educate, partnering with our clients to establish a firm foundation on which they can pivot through life's ever-changing environments. That could mean, like, that mission could apply to hundreds of different things, right? And so I think that you may want to just say, like, something like using insurance, partnering with our clients to introduce insurance products or solutions so that they can adapt to life's ever-changing environments or pivot, right? So those are different ideas for your mission statement there. So we're good there. Just definitely some things that I might change up a little bit on the homepage. The phone number is great, but it's kind of in a weird place. I would also take the phone number and put it in the top right hand corner here. Make it even more apparent potentially, and then make sure that if you're looking to get phone calls, make sure that as I scroll down, it sticks. I checked your mobile site, and although on here it doesn't work properly, it definitely does work properly on a phone. There it is. However, again, we use up a lot of space above the fold with just the name and the logo. And I think you could probably do a little bit more with that space as far as moving people along and getting them to engage with the page. Core values. I love the fact that you have core values. That's fantastic. You're not outside of your rights to have these pretty high up on the page. I do think that you may want to talk about the different insurance products that you offer and the true problems that you solve a little bit higher up. So maybe put those before the core values. But I think it's great to talk about them early and often. Things we do: empower and protect, educate, protect. And I know that you do all these things, and it's fantastic. And I know that you don't want to be pigeonholed in, but talk specifically about the products that you offer. Like, I know that you offer disability insurance, like short-term, long-term disability insurance, or maybe it's just short-term disability insurance. Like, talk about that. Have a blurb about that. Have some rows that talk specifically about the different products and services that you offer, and why going with you is better than just going with somebody else. Like, you offer short-term disability insurance, why go with Pivot Life instead of calling like Aflac, right? Or something like that. And I know that there are distinct reasons, like very, very important reasons. Talk about it, show the differences between working with you and working with any of the other people that could do this. And I know based on this that, like, you provide a lot more education and consultation, but connect that directly to the products that you offer to really make it a very obvious, a sort of a very obvious connection. Also, I would love to see some social proof on the website. So I would love to see some reviews from some people on the website. I would also like to see some pictures of you and your staff so that we know who we're going to be dealing with. I think that having a connection with the person who I'm going to be working with on this is very important. Maybe even some sort of a video or some sort of an introductory call, right? Where I can sort of see what my next steps are going to be and what it's going to look like. So setting expectations for people is going to bring down barriers and make them more comfortable with contacting you, right? So again, back up here with the call to action. If it's contact us for a free consultation, then tell me how fast I'm gonna get it, right? What are my options gonna be? Am I gonna be able to set up a Zoom call? Can we email? Can we text back and forth with each other? Like really put those options out there so that I, as a consumer or as a business owner, can very easily see, okay, this is not a very rigid, regimented structure, which is good. Here's an example from Talkspace of kind of what I'm talking about, where we give expectations, right? So like how it works, how Talkspace works. Well, this could say like how Pivot Life works, right? And it's the same. It could be a very similar sort of diagram, so that you're laying out for me what the process is going to look like, and then a very, again, clear call to action: get started. White space. Nice use of colors, yes, but like the pop of color is right here on the get started button, which is what you want. So this is just a good example of sort of setting expectations. Another one that these guys are doing, and you may be able to do this as well, like if you work with big deal providers, use those big deal providers logos on your website so that people can sort of see that you're reputable and that you're working with companies that they recognize. Like the more of that you can do, the better off you're going to be. And then also down here, like we talking about the benefits of working with Pivot Life. This is a good example of how you could lay something like that out, right? So like benefits of working with Pivot Life, and you can compare yourself to other providers, or you don't necessarily need to. You don't necessarily need to say, well, other providers don't give you one-on-one consultation. Other providers won't get on the phone and on a Zoom call with your employees. Other providers are going to make you do all the work where we do all the work in our company. You don't have to say other providers. You could just tell me what the benefits are, and then I will be able to make my own deductions from it, my own observations. For instance, like here, they say eliminate commute time and scheduling hassles. Well, they don't have to tell me that if I actually go see a therapist in person, they don't have to tell me that that's going to be a hassle. It's just implied in their benefit, right? So you could say a lot of the same. You could do the same thing on your website, and you can kind of see, right, like very, very clear calls to action. You see how social proof is being used here. You could do the same. Obviously, you probably don't have 60,000 5-star reviews yet. Maybe someday you will. But, this is just a good way to do it. If you could get yourself up to like 15 or 20 5-star Google reviews, and then you could just pipe those Google reviews automatically into the website with a plugin, that's all you would really need to do. And then you would have basically all the social proof that you need. So, definitely some opportunity here, some things that you could do to really spruce up this homepage. But overall, like it has great foundation, and I think that it wouldn't be too hard to really take this to the next level. So let us know if we can do anything else. One other thing too, you have a blog here. You've written a blog. You've got blog posts. So something that I noticed is that you have a lot of different. First of all, here's the thing about blogging. Like, if you're gonna do blogging, you have to do it consistently. Otherwise, it just doesn't look like you're. I mean, it just looks funny, right? Like you were doing a really good job with these blogs for a while, and we haven't seen one in a year, right? So or almost a year, whatever. It's been a while. So keep up with it, first of all. Or if you don't keep up with it, that's also okay, but just don't put the dates. Another thing too is just watch your fonts. You have a decent amount of fonts going on here that I think you probably should just keep the same. This is like a Times New Roman type of a font, like a serif, and I would use that as opposed to this. I also noticed it on the button down here at the bottom, this send button, and then in here. So just, I think we should keep the fonts consistent. As far as your socials go, so we've got Instagram, we've got LinkedIn, we got Facebook. That's good. So one other thing on the font, on the blog, is that if you're going to publish blog posts, I wouldn't just bury them in your blog. Put them on your homepage. Like, put a section that says most recent blog post on your homepage, because what it does is it shows people that you know what you're talking about, and most of the people that come to your website are only going to go to your homepage. They're not going to go anywhere else. They're not going to even read your blog. You just need to use the blog posts to build your credibility and your authority and demonstrate that you know what you're doing. Because they may never get to your blog to actually see how brilliant you are, but if you at least use one post on your homepage, then it'll impact your credibility in the client's mind and improve the likelihood that they contact you. And you may even be talking about something that resonates with them. You could do the same thing with a video. If you had a professional video produced where you were maybe being interviewed about the different types of products that you offer and the why behind what you're doing, the different types of problems that you solve, that too would build your authority here and help people see that they should be contacting you, and hopefully, you could solve their problem too. So those are some main things that you could do to really take this landing page to the next level, this home page to the next level. If we can help you with anything else, let us know.